he ended up telling me, like, when we went to Club Live, he was like, guess where we're going tonight? I'm like, where? He's like, to P. Diddy's house. I'm like, oh, really? I'm like, that's crazy, because I hear a lot about P. Diddy, and I'm like, his house for what? Like, to go sing? He's like, no, he's throwing this wild party, da-da-da. I'm like, oh, okay. So we went from Club Live. It ended at, like, the clubs end at, like, 3 or 4, and not 2, like how out here is. So we waited around the mansion, the Prince's mansion, for about an hour, and then soon as 6:30 hit, we went. We all got in the car, like a big Uber, and me and all the other girls. Now, mind you, I'm the only black girl. So I'm like, oh, yeah, you know, I'm about to meet P. Diddy. Oh, you know, like, I'm probably going to have to sing for him, da-da-da. And I just tried to, like, keep my composure. So we get there, and that's when stuff got weird. And that's why they lock up our phones, because they know what we see in there, you know, it's he can get in trouble, like right now. So basically, so we arrived, security guard patted us down. They put our phone in this little bubble case. So the bubble case is closed. They can't get unlocked until we walk out. So as we're in there, the only way of us taking any type of pictures is if we get in the photo booth. He has like a Teen Love photo booth or whatever. Take like 4 pictures. So I, you know, got pictures. I still got everything in my Snap too, like of the photos, everything. That's all you could get. So I'm walking around or whatever. So one of his sons, I'm not going to tell you which one, but it was like recruiting like whoever they wanted to go inside the house, because the freak off is inside the house and in the backyard. So you have the pool, and they're playing loud house music. Like, Mark, the house music, it makes you feel kind of woozy, first of all, because it's like a rave or something. Dun, 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 and it's real loud, so you can't really see nothing, but you're seeing everybody like walking around drunk, hopping around. It's still 7 a.m. So the sun is like coming up, and people are walking around naked, period. Let's get into it. They're walking around naked already, and they're in the pool skinny dipping, and they're drinking mimosas in the pool, but then it's like a waitress walking around giving people drinks, just passing people drinks, you know, and people are just taking them. Me, I don't drink like that, but I'm like an occasional drinker. Like, I'll drink if we're partying or whatever, just for that occasion. So, because people are going to keep saying, drink, drink, drink. But I didn't take a drink yet. But I just had it in my hand. So one of the sons seen me walking. Mind you, I'm with other girls, but we split up. So I was walking with one girl. She's a Puerto Rican girl. So P. Diddy's son was like, you. And I'm like, me or her? And then he was like, no, you. Come here. So I went to him, and he gave me some shoes. So these shoes was like some terry cloth, like robe shoes, white shoes. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with these? He was like, go in the house with these. He was like, everybody who gets these shoes, you get to go in the house. But I'm thinking you could just go in the house if you want to, but everybody can't go in the house. They're literally selectively picking who they want. So I'm like, well, what about my friend? He was like, no, only you. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm holding the shoes. I'm walking around. You know, I'm a good, loyal friend. I'm not going to go inside a house where they said my friend can't go. So we just walking around mingling. But we tripping out, looking at everybody like they off everything smoking and jumping around like hooligans. And so I seen P. Diddy or whatever, and I seen him with the Prince. I'm not going to say what he was doing, but something really, I get real nervous. Something real crazy, because I don't like to really expose people. I could talk about me, but when it's about, like, me, my family, because it's us. But when it's other people, bro, doing something real sexual, that's all I'm going to say. So that we could see, and so that we can get turned on, okay? So he's doing something with himself. And I'm like, girl, do you see him? She's like, yes. But mind you, we're screaming like, girl, do you see him? Oh my God, because of the music. And I'm just like, whatever. Then he starts to act like really obnoxious, like, I'm the king of the world, jumping around, doing all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, that's regular P. Diddy shit. But what got me was how he walked up to me and was like, why are you not in the house? And I'm like, what do you mean? He like, how are you enjoying my house? So we had a little talk or whatever. He started talking about all these things. Oh yeah, you're the one that, you know, I seen was telling me about the Prince. He's like, oh yeah, it's very nice to meet you. Like, your life is not going to be the same. Da 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 we started talking about going to Cuba. Are you going to Cuba with us? I'm like, what? And that's the thing. I didn't really know about this. So this is when I start asking around or whatever. And I said that in the last interview. But to get to the point, I ended up going in the house because he was on me, like, go in that house. I'm like, okay. Then the person that he was dating at that time, we're not going to say her name, but we all know, she came and was like looking at him like, what are you doing? Because he was talking to me for too long. So she came to like rub on his shoulders or whatever, and he just pushed her. And I'm looking like real uncomfortable, like, oh, I know what this is about. I don't want to be in the middle of there, whatever. So that's what made me go into the house, because I'm like, okay, let me just go in the house. So I told my friend, like, wait right here, girl, let me just put on these shoes, see what this house is about. Walk up in there. I don't judge people, because at the time I was just smoking weed. But you know when people are out of their mind, and you know when people, you know what you don't want to be a part of. And it's just like, I'm seeing stuff that you see on the movies. This corner, this got going on. This corner, they over here doing this. This corner, they over there having sex. This corner, I'm just going to say, because I don't know what I can say, because I'm not trying to be incriminating myself, but they were dressed up like little Harajuku Barbies.
Like what?
Little people, okay? We're not going to say what type of little people, but like a fetish. And I'm looking like, what are they doing here? Like dressed up, little red lipstick, like they weren't supposed to be there. But I'm just looking like maybe it's some type of production going on. But why would they be at this party at 7 o'clock in the morning with grown people? Like why would they be here? So I was just like, okay, whatever. Like, but then when I'm looking in this corner, this person laid out, and I'm looking like, what's going on? Then I'm seeing like Instagram models or whatever. I'm like, oh, hey. So I'm kind of getting distracted, feeling like kind of comfortable. Like, she's here? Oh my gosh, she's here. And then I see P. Diddy, you know, walking through the house like with his eyes on me. Like, you know, like, is this, you know, you see, like, are you agreeing with this? And I don't. Now, mind you, I still got my friend out there. So I walked out of the house and I'm telling her like, oh my God, bitch, like this is, oh my God, she like for real? But I'm just like, I'm not even tripping, like, oh well, like this nigga's weird, like, you know? So I'm really looking at the situation like, I don't even want to be involved in this type of stuff, because once I see something, I can't get it out of my mind. And I'm like a hypochondriac, like I keep on having flashbacks about it. So whatever. So of course I come out, and then here he goes again. And another rapper, well-known rapper, comes and starts feeling on me like, hey, you. So now it just seems like everybody is faded at this point. They're either drunk or on all the drugs, obviously, with this house music. So now I just feel like trapped in. Like, I don't like it. And I know the devil when I see it. Because by me being so spiritual and tapped in, I know when something is not right. I'm not judging, but I just don't want to be a part of it, because how am I going to get out of this shit? Like, I'm already here. And then I heard conversations or whatever. And then P. Diddy was like, that's the one that I want. I want her. So now I feel like, you know, they plotting on me like, did you bring me here on purpose? Like, is this the, you know, producer you was talking about? And I came here specifically with the Prince to rub elbows with people, to network for the music week. But then I put two and two together, like, the Prince have been saying your life is never going to be the same. You're going to be happy. Somebody's expecting you. And I just feel like that was the time that I was going to get sex trafficked or, you know, drugged or something like that. And then they kept trying to make me, like, I've been around celebrities before. If a rapper wants you or somebody wants you, they're not going to do it. They're going to send somebody else to do it. So if a waitress is coming or another girl or a pretty girl or a guy, they'll sick somebody on you. Like, take this drink, do this, do that. And then you just feel eyes on you, like watching to see if you're going to do it, when you're going to do it. So I already know what time it was. And it's crazy because I had to leave that place. In my last interview, I told you I had to escape. I had to leave from the Prince because he was telling me we was leaving for Cuba the next day. Cuba with who? With P. Diddy or what? Like, this is all crazy. So to see all of this stuff come out, and I escaped by leaving. I had to call the police and everything. I had to leave with the Prince. That's another story. From the Prince, from that house. I didn't leave with the other girls. I had to get my phone unlocked, of course. But like, I had to like catch a taxi, not even an Uber, a taxi to another location, and then I ended up going to the airport, and I ended up leaving because I just felt bamboozled. First, I'm getting lied to about how long I'm supposed to stay there. Then you keep talking about I'm supposed to meet this producer, but we're not talking about nothing with music, but you're talking about going to Cuba. We didn't even do what we were supposed to do in Miami, or did we do what we were supposed to do in Miami at this freak off? But because I'm not cooperating with what I see, and I feel like that's what the Illuminati and stuff is about, like a secret society. Like they want to see what you allow, what you cool with, and then next thing you know, boom, take that drink, you're drugged. Take that, you're out of it. Take that pill, because everybody was off something, but you had to be being in that environment like that.
How many people were at this event?
Like hundreds. Even when it was a certain amount outside, but in the house was really crowded. You know what I'm saying? And you would think that, like, it was more people in the house.
And you walked around?
Yeah, I walked around for about 5 minutes. I seen what I need to see. And I was like, no, ma'am. No, sir. Because it was like selling your soul at that house. And if you like that, it's nothing to you. But if you're not like that, you're going to feel uncomfortable. And then it's like, at first I used to think P. Diddy was like, so he always talk about team love and all of this stuff. Like he's all about, no, he all about sex, himself. And I know sex because I've dealt with men, Mark. So I know when somebody is trying to lead you on to stuff and sitting back acting like he just this macho man. And he is a charmer though. That's one thing. Like he will charm the fuck out of you. But for me, that's so game tight. I'm like, I know what this is. And I'm ready to get to the music. Like, if that's the case, you should have been like, don't tell me you about to change my life and da-da-da. And, oh, have you been writing? Oh, that's another thing too. He was like, have you been writing the songs that I seen been telling you to write? Because the Prince wanted me to write out all the songs I ever made in my life. I said, without the beat? He's like, yeah, just start writing songs. So you never know. They'll take my music, drug me, fuck me, do whatever, and just throw me away, basically. Or after you have something on me, when we do the music, you have that on me that this happened, and now I'm blackmailed or some shit like that. So touching all on me at that party, even the rapper who touched all on me, like that rapper was cool. Like I was liking that rapper. But when they were like, hey, you, and doing all that, what can I do? All I could do is just say, like, move his hand like, oh, I'm fine, but, trying to, like, still be cool. But I'm like, why do everybody feel comfortable to just touch on you? Even P. Diddy, like, why I look up and you're right there? And then, like, in my face, like, are you, like, in my house? Like, it's weird. Like, looking at him, it's like when you're a kid and you're getting in trouble by your parent and you can't look them in their face. And it's like a demon. I'm telling you, like this dark spirit, like he possessing you as he's looking at you. That power, that control. So I'm like, I read The Art of Seduction, motherfucker. I know what you're doing, and you're trying to really seduce me right now. And, oh, take a drink. Oh, do this, do that. Go in there. Like it's just not nothing. And I want to know why me go in the house and why not the girl? So now you're picking and choosing. So it's fishy to me. So when all this stuff started coming out, I was like, I knew I was right. I knew it. Like, it ain't no doubt about that P. Diddy was doing all that. And like I said, I don't judge because I've been around people doing cocaine. But these hard drugs that they was doing and just, I ain't gonna lie, it was orgies and stuff going on. So all of this stuff going on, I'm like, why is people doing stuff all in the open? Like, that's just offending me and assaulting me, period. Because where am I at? I didn't sign up for this. And how can I really get out? So I had to like ease my way on out. It's security, but they not caring about what happens as long as that phone is closed. They damn near don't care if somebody died up in there. Ain't nobody can film it.
And there were famous people or not?
It was a whole bunch of famous people.
Yeah.
Like 4 famous people and then some Instagram models. And the whole time he just was like trying to undress me with his eyes. And I was thinking like, this is really no cap. Because at that time, I always been skinny. So at that time, the son who came up to me, I was like, boy, is it because I resemble your mom? Like, like Kim Porter, like stuff like that. Like, you just never know. Like, I feel like, P. Diddy does have a type. I feel like everybody that was in that house, it was a certain type of person. It was a certain type of something that he wanted and what he liked. And you could just tell, like, he get whatever he wants. That's why he has no problem touching on you, being all in your face, popping up on you, being obnoxious, and just hounding you until you do what he say. And that's just how the industry is already, especially him, because he got a lot of money, you know?
Because you're a singer as well, right?
Yeah, so they probably like, do you want this opportunity or what? And I'm like, not that damn bad, but I do want it. I do. But if I already got a bad vibe and I'm seeing stuff that you're into, I already know how this is going to be. So I don't want to, like, you know, ignore some red flags and then I'll be in trouble because of you. Like, literally in trouble. Like, we know his past, like Shine, the rapper, you know, being in jail because of him. Like, don't think just because I'm from where I'm from, you could just do anything. And that's why I never really said nothing about it, because I just felt like, who am I? You know, he got money. Like, ain't nobody gonna believe me. But I have all the receipts. I have it all in my Snap to this day. It never went nowhere. That was just my experience just being in Miami for the first time. I didn't know that I was going to end up at P. Diddy's house.
Did you take photos outside the house?
When I got my phone back, yeah.
Videos or something?
Mm-hmm. I took videos when I was going to the house before I knew this was some weird shit. And then when I got my phone, I ended up, recording. And then I had the shoes on.
Well, you had the shoes.
I left with the shoes on because I don't know where I put my shoes at when I put those on. And it was a lot going on. It was real loud. So, I don't know. It just tripped me out. And I was like, is he gay? You know, like, and nothing against gays. I couldn't put my finger. I was like, what is this dude into? But his house, his freak off. No, not like that. You know I'm going to make everything into a joke, but this is a real serious situation because it'll traumatize you, because now I ain't trusting no producer. I look at everybody like, if I went to the top of the top and I've been looking at him like this top-notch mogul and like whatever. But child, it's a lot. But it's some stuff, you know, that I did leave out because I don't want to say too much, but because I told you there was some celebrities in there. But for these girls that did get drugged and did take these drinks, I feel like it's because everybody was all having fun. You know, you wouldn't think that somebody would do something like that to you until you get to seeing everything. And once you're intoxicated, it's too late. It's just too late. So that's why you gotta watch what drinks you take. And they was just pushing them on us too much. Take a drink, take a drink, take a drink. And I'm like, no. Because I was already, you know, sipping a little bit at Club Live. So I wanted to, like, mind you, I'm thinking like, he gonna ask me to sing in a minute. I don't want to be toe up, you know? Mm-hmm. Until I put two and two together. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I did.
I'm glad you got out and survived.
Yep. I'm always surviving. This is no joke.
You're a survivor. For
real. And it's like, I'm still going through stuff. You know, you don't survive being traumatized. And these things do traumatize you, because it's like, dang, I can't never get around this. Like, it always end up to this, sex. Or some creep shit. Or somebody taking advantage of you or something, or feeling all on you and you can't do nothing because...
You thought the streets were dangerous.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you. But, yeah. So I just want to see, like, you know, what's going to happen, because I know a lot of people was... He went to trial today. And I didn't even know.
It's going to be in the news for a while, I think.
It's going to be in the news, and a lot of stuff is going to come out. So don't be saying I'm lying, because I wasn't lying.
This is all alleged, but
right.
Sounds like it's pretty consistent with things that are in the news.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And you did say this, what, like 2 years ago?
Exactly. And I told you I got sex trafficking vibes from it. Remember? I was like, he was trying to sell us. The Prince to Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Which one do you want? Which one? I want that one.
What does it feel like to be peddled off like that to somebody powerful? Is it?
It's scary. It's scary because what could happen, but it's like, Come on, you know I'm honored to be
Chosen?
chosen, period. But I don't want to end up in a ditch somewhere, you know, just
No,
because he's choosing so many people and assaulting people. I don't want to be assaulted, and I don't want to be filled up. If you're going to fill me up, make sure you ask me, can I touch you? You know, you're beautiful. You, not just you in my house so I can. And I'm like, this is weird, you know? Like, tell me first, fool. Because I would have charged you. No, I'm saying. But, and I just make, you know, it did hurt my feelings. So, you know, whatever. I got over it. And I didn't do music no more after that because I was like, I'm cool on music, bro.
That would scare you out of the industry.
Yeah, like, I'm like, this is all they want. Let me just make an album.
The allegations against P. Diddy just keep on coming, this time from a British TV host with hundreds of thousands of Instagram followers. Now, she's revealing the shocking details of Diddy's parties with guest lists of underage girls whose drinks were laced with drugs. It's just another accusation in a long list of others, all alleging a pattern of abuse at the hands of Diddy spanning decades. 54-year-old Sean P. Diddy Combs is nearing the 1-month mark of life behind bars. The disgraced music icon has spent the past several weeks at the Metropolitan Detention Center in New York. This comes after Diddy's arrest on September 16th, when a grand jury indicted him on charges of racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Diddy has appeared in court several times since his arrest and made several attempts at bail, one of which is still pending. But for now, he's being held in a protective care unit at MDC Brooklyn. He's pleaded not guilty to the charges and just last week was assigned a May 2025 trial date. In the past, Diddy's attorney has been outspoken, saying Diddy's side of the story will be told when it comes time for trial. One of his defense attorneys, Mark Agnifilo, actually even said Diddy plans to testify when it comes time for trial. Now, that still remains to be seen, but we can make an educated guess that the witness testimony will be pretty compelling and likely from a lot of survivors. The federal indictment mentions only one listed as victim one. Now, their name isn't included, but we can infer that victim one is actually Cassandra Ventura. She's also known as the singer Cassie, who dated Diddy for several years, starting when she was just a teenager. Cassie filed civil suit against Diddy in November of last year, introducing us to the phrase freak-offs. This was once again defined in the federal indictment as elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, masturbated during, and often electronically recorded. This is all part of Diddy's alleged scheme. He would drug women or spike their drinks, sexually assault them, and or force them to have sex with a prostitute, all while he's recording. Now, it's these recordings that led to Diddy's arrest, as the feds collected some during the raids of his home back in March. Okay, I know you're multitasking when you're watching our videos, and if you're out and about running errands, listen up. I have to tell you about the free app Upside that gives you cash back on daily essentials. It's something I use every time I pump my gas because it's so easy and it's free, so why not? Okay, all you have to do is get the Upside app and claim an offer for whatever you're buying. So you pay as usual and then just follow the steps on the app to get paid. To find out how much you could earn, click the link in the description to download Upside or scan the QR code on the screen and use our promo code LCNews to get an extra 25 cents back on every gallon on your first tank of gas. But back to Cassie. Her lawsuit with Diddy was settled just one day after it was filed, but it was too late. Since then, more than a dozen civil suits have been filed against Diddy, all laying out the similar pattern of abuse. We can also expect more than 100 new civil lawsuits to be filed against Diddy over the next few weeks. This was announced by Houston-based attorney Tony Busby, who alleges he received literally thousands of calls from survivors, all claiming to have been sexually assaulted by Diddy. There are other allegations that high-profile celebrities took part in these freak-offs and sexual assaults. And that leads us to the newest allegation, coming from Precious Muir, a British TV host who has thousands of followers on Instagram. Muir says she moved to New York in 2005 and was told that she needed to network to make a name for herself in the entertainment industry. That led Muir to some of Diddy's parties, where she allegedly witnessed some sinister actions, young girls being drugged against their will and forced to have sex. She told the Daily Mail, quote, "I wanted to be invited and be around these amazing and incredible people, so if you had the opportunity, you went. Back then, we didn't have the luxury of social media and Instagram to message a brand directly. Going to parties weren't just an option, but they were part of our job. According to Muir, shuttles or SUVs with tinted windows would pick up girls and take them to these Diddy parties that oftentimes had some major celebrity names. Muir says she was warned not to smoke any weed there because Diddy would apparently sprinkle stuff in it. On top of that, the vodka shots were apparently laced with drugs. At one point, Muir says she had a drink that was spiked, causing half of her face to go numb. She said, quote, "I truly believe that not participating in drugs prevented me from going into a dark place that many other girls went to." During this era, Muir says she met Diddy and Cassie, who were dating. She says Diddy was obviously the leader of the pack, who took advantage of young girls who had showbiz dreams. It didn't matter if the girls were underage either. Muir says it was not a place for children as there was nudity and sex, but that didn't stop Diddy from recruiting young women, allegedly. Muir says, quote, "I saw people hooking up sexually. When I went to the bathroom, I saw condom wrappers and fragments of cocaine on the side with whatever thing they used to sniff it." She went on to say that as the leader, Diddy was never told no. She said, quote, "You can sense that he has a lot of confidence and that he likes to be in control and tell his inner circle what to do, and I don't think anyone ever really says no to him." Security guards were apparently also present at these parties, who were on the watch for anyone who pulled out their phones to take pics or videos. These personal recordings were not allowed, but Diddy himself was allowed to record, and according to Muir, there were cameras scattered around the rooms recording everything. Now, according to the federal indictment that was filed decades after these parties, Diddy would use these same recordings as blackmail against the survivors, saying he would release it if they spoke up about this alleged abuse. It's just one more shocking allegation that adds to the case against Diddy. To understand what all this new information means for Diddy's case, we're talking to former prosecutor and criminal defense attorney Mike Korbanix. We're talking about P. Diddy yet again, and I don't know if I'm surprised or what that we have another allegation that another person's coming forward and saying, "Hey, I went to those freak-offs, I saw what it was all about." What are you thinking when you hear that yet another person's coming forward with these accusations?
Well, it's difficult to see because there's so many people coming forward that I think there's going to be a very big question by the defense as to what exactly is admissible. And if this person was actually a victim, or were it just at a party where they saw things that necessarily weren't illegal if they weren't a victim and didn't see exactly what made it illegal. So that's an interesting question here, because I don't think some of the people were actually victims that are coming forward. They saw things, but I don't know if they saw all the details. And especially when it gets to be an issue of sexual assaults or things of that nature, is did they hear non-consent or consent where it was coming? So I think we're going to hear some new areas of admissibility of evidence in this case that we haven't heard before.
Yeah, that's a good point. This person, Precious, who she has like a massive following on Instagram, she's not alleging that she was sexually assaulted, just that she witnessed some questionable things at these freak-offs. And I do think you brought up a good point about the defense. They're going to want to know, okay, is she just there saying, you know, she saw it? What can come in? And I guess that leads to my next question here. She says she moved to New York in 2005, and these freak-offs that she saw apparently happened way back then. But now we're in 2024, so could any of that even be admissible anyway?
Well, it depends upon when exactly and what's covering the time frame of these episodes. Was it a continuing conspiracy? Because that always will lengthen the statute of limitations, as to usually it goes to when the last event occurred, not necessarily when it stopped. But these are all going to be very interesting questions, because it's very unusual that you have a trial that goes over such a long period of time with such a variety of people. And I think that's going to be another question too, is by having so many victims in one indictment, is the defendant being prejudiced because people are going to hear so many different witnesses, that are they going to accept that that witness is just for that incident, or are they going to let it roll over into, well, the other person said that as well? That has some serious constitutional questions.
Yeah, when we're talking about the number of people who are alleging these acts of violence at the hands of Diddy, I mean, we're at hundreds. I mean, thousands, actually, if you believe some of the attorneys who are saying, okay, yeah, 12,000 people are calling us reporting that they were allegedly sexually assaulted by Diddy. So dozens, hundreds, thousands. I mean, a lot of people are saying that they were sexually assaulted by P. Diddy. And that brings into question, when it comes time for this trial, which I guess now is May of next year, when it comes time, how many of these victims or survivors are going to testify? I mean, that's obviously an overwhelming number of people, but what do you think the prosecution would want to bring to make sure that their case is as good as it can get?
Well, I would think the prosecution, if they have a strong case, would want to bring less than more and rely on quality and not quantity, because you've got to have witnesses that are coming straight forward and not opening doors for the defense to create reasonable doubt as to whether or not these people are in fact credible or not. I think a big question is going to be, as well as, if you were a victim, why did it take you so many years to come forward? Or were you just a victim because things didn't work out because you're hoping to advance? And that's going to be a very interesting question. It may not sound like the nicest questions to ask, but it is a question when you're defending someone to see if they're proving beyond a reasonable doubt whether or not that person did not consent to what happened.
And I do think you're bringing up a good point here in that there's so many people who are coming forward that the defense obviously has to be asking a couple of questions. P. Diddy's a huge name, and we've been talking about him, I mean, for months at this point. Now I'm wondering the defense will probably say something like, okay, this is very opportunistic of you. If you actually were sexually assaulted, again, to your point, Mike, why did it take you so long to come forward? So are these things that the defense is going to go through and vet if and when it comes time for all of these witnesses that they know are going to be called for the future trial? Are they going to go through and really make sure that these people have airtight stories?
Oh, absolutely. That's part of our obligation as defense attorneys. I've been on both sides as a prosecutor and a defense attorney, and you have to prepare to make sure that those questions are going to be asked that are relevant to the case, but do not prejudice the jury as to what they're going to decide. And you have to make sure that these witnesses have credibility, and what were the reasons. If it was one of the reasons they delayed was because they had some, and there are some experts who will testify that there's mental health issues that may prevent somebody from reporting something because they're afraid, or was it that I was willing to do this as long as I advanced in my career? And that's going to be the interesting question, I think. I mean, I haven't seen all the discovery in this matter, but that's going to be the interesting question as to where this is going to go forward.
And the reason we're talking about this story today at all is because this woman, Precious, came forward and is talking about these freak-offs. And that's really the topic we've been talking about almost a month now, at least. But as far as what she's talking about, the allegations, sexual assault is really tough to talk about at all. But now she's bringing out something else forward, rather, and it's that there was child sexual assault. She's saying that these places were not appropriate for children, and yet they were there. She's saying she potentially witnessed some of this. And what's interesting, though, is that in the federal indictment, we don't see any charges for child sex crimes. But there are people who have come forward, in addition to Precious, other people who are saying that it happened when they were under age 18. So what do you think? Do you think the federal prosecutors are considering all this information?
I am sure they are. I mean, the federal prosecutors don't just come forward